Alright everybody, and welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Lemax, the Haunted Hotel Haven. Let's get into it. Okay, so just a couple of quick housekeeping notes off the top. I know it has been a while since I've been with you on here, but like I told you guys at the beginning of, I think it was like August or September, I had mentioned that I own a commercial haunted house and it takes up all of my time, and what little time I do have left, I'm, a family man too, so there's a lot of other things going on, but everybody is happy and healthy, so please do not worry. That is all that it is. And if you are curious about the haunted house, it is called the Brunel Scream. I know some of you this past year had went, and it was very exciting to see you there, but nonetheless, that's all that's going on. But when Lemax reached out again with some new houses for this year, of course I'm going to review them, and if I have time on and off throughout the year, I will review some of the other older houses that I do have and haven't reviewed quite yet. Okay, so let's get back to it now. This is the Lemax, the Haunted Hotel Haven. It was released, of course, in 2024, and the SKU number off the top is 45220. Now for some dimensions, we have 12.36 inches high, 12.20 inches wide, and 8.78 inches in depth. Product type, sights and sounds, and it is made of resin. Now let's talk power. This house takes a standard 4.5 volts DC adapter that is included in the box, and I did want to note this little special Easter egg, if you will. It seems that the bags that the power source is coming in is an eco-friendly bag now. The name says composite bar, I think, or something like that. I believe it's actually a German word, and I think in English it means like compositable. Basically, it's good for the earth, kind of eco-friendly kind of stuff, so that's cool. But the bag that the house came in seemed like the standard Lemax bag, so I don't know about that one, but this one is a step in the right direction. Now let's talk about the draw. It is 420 milliamps, so this is quite a large one. My advice is to always run the large houses on their own power supply, because it's so easy to overload those multi-adapters if you get too many things going if one of the houses is drawing so much already. All right, as far as the plug, it is located in the back of the unit, and the switch is a standard power volume roll switch. Yes, this house does have a soundtrack, and as you can see, plenty of motion. Let's talk price. $139.99. I don't know that that's too crazy, with where things have been, kind of where things are going. Don't get me wrong, it's expensive, I agree, but it doesn't seem like out of this world for what you're getting on this one. There is another house that I'm going to be reviewing that is in the same ballpark that is more than worth that price point. But yeah, I don't think this one is like too over the moon for this. As far as the weight, on my scale, it's about 4.5 pounds roughly. That is a rough estimate based on the scale that I have laying around here. Before we get into the closer details of the house, one thing I wanted to mention is that this house needs to be powered down. So don't just unplug this or cut power to it. You actually need to roll the switch all the way back, and it'll go through like a closed down cycle like you're seeing now. Okay, so now it's time we take a closer look. So starting from the top, you are going to see like this sunroof at the very peak of the building. It is good size, not a lot of detail around it or on it, but there is this purple light inside that helps really at night to show the grand size of this thing. When you think of a hotel, you want that huge grand entryway. That's kind of what it feels like to me. Next up is the Haunted Hotel Haven sign. Not a lot going on with it, but it is cool for what it is. It has the green trim. The print is relatively clear. It is good size, so it's something you're going to immediately notice, and of course it lights up. So all in all, it does help tie the overall feel of the building together. There is also another hotel sign on the right side of the building, kind of like an old school, almost borderline motel kind of sign, but nonetheless it is there. Next up is one of the highlights of the building. So this is like the pool area, the hangout area. It seems to be like on the second or third floor. There is a skeleton or dead zombie in an inner tube, and it does actually move, which is cool. It's not the most ultra realistic thing or the smoothest thing in the world, but honestly, it kind of cool. And it's even got this huge like octopus thing coming out. There's everything from a cabana and even someone getting a nice little suntan. So it is a highlight for sure. The next thing I wanted to show you guys was the free parking sign. I don't know, it's actually kind of neat and it works with the scenario of the hotel and it's decent size for what it is. And it's right there off to the side from where we just were. So I wanted to just bring a quick note to that. Next up, I wanted to move to the center of the building. I've noticed with the houses this year so far, there is even a next level of detail that seems to be going into a lot of like the stonework that they're doing. It seems like they've really taken another step forward there. And I wanted to just highlight that. I mean, you can see even down to the micro little indentions and stuff and the little paint that is, dripping or shadowing, all these different things that really help make it pretty realistic. The windows are kind of the classic Lemax windows still and stuff like that, but I was really impressed with the level of detail in the stonework this year. Now, working our way more towards the bottom, this is another one of those show pieces, and there is so much to see here. So I'm going to try to sew and cover as much as I can of this, but basically it's the carousel of people leaving and coming out or coming to the hotel or leaving, right? That kind of thing. You will see everything from like luggage carts that are nicely painted with the gold trim, just like a classic hotel. There's like a gentleman who I think is some kind of like bellhop or something like that. Maybe helps move your bags around. Great costume, by the way. There's a lady pulling her luggage. I mean, there is a lot going on and they just circle and circle and circle and it creates a really neat effect. And they are smooth, by the way. So it's kind of a cool little feature. And again, there is so many of them. I'm going to try to show you as much as I can, but it's a real neat part of the house. Next up is the main showpiece of this house for me. It's the part that really was like grabbed me when I was looking at this thing. It is the elevator. I don't recall many other Lemax houses, if at all. I'm sure they exist, but none to this level. So when the elevator first opens, you'll see that the luggage cart comes out or goes in, depending on what you're looking at or how you're looking at it. You will see there is amazing detail right there around the door, including elevator buttons and a little meter that shows what floor you're on. And let me tell you, it does move. It really does go with the elevator. It's the coolest thing. Now, as the elevator rises, you are going to see that through the window, there's like I don't know how they do it, but some kind of like shadow or something that simulates the actual elevator moving. Super cool. And yes, there is another floor meter there at the top. And yes, they're in sync and they move based on where that light is. So they go all the way to one side, all the way back down, in sync with the elevator. It is by far my favorite part of this house. Just a really creative idea and what a way to execute it. Okay, so now just looking at the very, very bottom, there is some basic brickwork with an open gate for guests to come in and out. You can see the kind of gate work is pretty decrepit to some degree, almost as if it's just getting old. It's not maybe falling apart yet, but it's, a little ghostly or something like that, if you will. There is not too much on the floor itself. There is a little sign and some more luggage laying around and stuff like that. But all the money in this house definitely went to like the animation because there was just so much of it. And I think, it doesn't look empty per se, but it doesn't look cluttered either. So it was actually kind of like a really nice balance. On the side of the house, there is another sign as well, pretty big, kind of like some advertisement. Again, you'll see some detail in the bricks and the stonework around the house. But overall, very, very impressive. The last thing I wanted to show you was the back of this thing. There is a lot going on the back. You can actually even see some of the movement from the back, which is cool. But I just thought that the stonework, again, I'm really bringing attention to it because it's so good. Looks amazing. And this is one of those houses that really could be seen from a lot of different angles. Good enough to be a centerpiece in your village, yes, but also a very flexible piece because of how good that back looks and how good the front looks. And from all angles, there's always something to see. So all in all, very flexible and a good house to kind of get the ball rolling this year. Okay, so that is the Haunted Hotel Haven. I absolutely love it. I think the scale of it is just fantastic. It's huge. It lights up, it moves, and the elevator is so unique. I can't wait to see how people are going to place this in their village. I definitely will this year. Everything about this is just spot on. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the lights so you can hear the soundtrack and see this house in all of its glory. There is more houses on the way to you now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.